But what happens if you just say, okay, let's keep this online? Why would we not keep these online? Okay? Well, actually, if you keep them online, you actually give yourself a fighting chance of hitting all of your audiences. In this case, 2 disparate audiences, but the same works true for 3 or 4 ads. And what you're looking for, the typical campaign that this particular effect works the best in, is when you have divergent populations that are interested in that. I mean, if you're saying, well, men give more preference to my ads than women, you're talking about a population difference of what? A percentage point or 2? Are you willing to forego half of your population to say, I'm going to push an ad that works best for men, old and young, rich and poor, eco and cheap bastards, whatever the case. So actually, if you leave the ad online, a very interesting thing happens. Okay, if we look at the simple coin toss probabilities, and just assume for a second, and I'm making a big assumption because before I told you that ads don't rotate evenly, but let's assume for a second that they do. Okay, so let's assume that it's a random, toss. We know that after one search, you have a 50-50 chance of seeing one ad or the other. Okay. Now the question is, what are the chances that people are going to see both ads, so that a single searcher will see both ads? Well, after 2 searches, actually, it happens. There's a 75% probability this will happen. 75% sometimes gets into the realm where you may actually choose a winner or a loser in an A/B test, isn't it? Because it's not brain research or molecular biology. We're talking about advertising here, so you can make grosser calls. But if you assume 3 searches, it's 87. If you assume 4, it's over 90% certain that people are going to see both of your ads. So you can satisfy, you have a chance to take a shot at both your audiences. Okay? Well, it seems to me, by my way of thinking, I would rather have a chance to be able to present my ad to as many people as possible than to select one whole population over another. Now, in point of fact, the ads don't rotate evenly. But if they don't rotate evenly, the way they probably rotate makes these probabilities even accelerate a little quicker. Because if Google shows the same ad, if Google shows an ad to a person the first time, the next time that person searches on that same search term or something reasonably equivalent, they may still show that same ad to them because quality score implications are probably going to bias the best historical clicking ad. However, on the third one, Google is in business to make money. Google says, what the hell? You didn't click on this thing the first 2 times I showed it. I'm not going to show that one to you. I'm going to show you something else. Okay? So actually what happens is the fact that it's not even rotation probably gives more credence to the fact that you're going to have better luck showing multiple ads to a big population or multiple populations than a single one. So if you're going to implement the Van Wagner ad sets optimization model, trademark, basically it says, hey, look, chill out. When you get down and you can't make a decision because it's too close, don't make the decision. You're probably right. Okay. Instead of reducing to a single ad, just throw another ad into your mix. Try to come up with a new challenge. You've got 2 good ones. You've got a peloton of 2. Try to get a new one in there. And here's a very interesting phenomenon. By keeping many ad lines, if you're not very good at paid search, and your keyword groups are unfocused, and your ads are sort of all over the place, the point is that ad sets, the more ads you have online, give you a better chance of better performance than if you let Google optimize to the single best ad. It's kind of a weird thing, but inefficiency is actually rewarded in this model. So if you think you're really bad at PPC, keep more than one ad online, okay? And always set your ads to even rotation. And that's really all I want to say about the ad optimization model, and we'll take questions in a minute. The last thing I wanted to leave you with here tonight, you've all been a very patient audience, and thank you very much. There's something that's just been announced very recently. Are you familiar with this new thing called modified broad match? If you're not familiar with it, start to get familiar with it. It's in your AdWords help now. It's in the UK, it's in Canada. But basically what it allows you to do is to give you more control of your broad match. It basically shuts off expanded broad match, and it's also more flexible than phrase match because you don't have to have things in the right order. Okay? Basically, by putting a plus sign in front of one of your words, so if you have blue widgets, you always wanted to say widgets. You didn't want to say blue spatulas or blue plinkas, okay? Which are, as you know, synonyms for widgets. If you put a plus in front of the term widget, it means that if and only if the search query contains this word, okay, will my broad match show it? Man, that's really great control. It will still allow for misspellings, close misspellings. It will still allow for singular plural forms. So it's starting to sound like Yahoo's standard match. Standard match. But for example, it will not venture very far from the word you have put the plus sign in front of. So fast will not be substituted for quick. Tulip will not be substituted for rose, which, as you know, if you did flowers, you might show up for, you did rose, you might show up for tulips on the broad match. That's available soon in the US. It's now active in beta in Canada and UK. Start to think about this, how this can help you box in your searches into particular ad groups to make sure your traffic is going to the right places, but still using broad match to get the traffic you want. And with that, I want to say thank you very much. Oh, and here's how it works. Don't say thank you very much yet. That's on AdWords. It's probably more visible on the AdWords. Shows how the modified broad sits in between phrase and pure broad in terms of your traffic volumes. So thank you very much.
So we have had a few questions from people. We'll take questions in a second. The presentation, your presentation is going to be available when? What date?
June 9th.
June 9th. We'll put it on SlideShare.
Sure.
And the video too will come up somewhere on June 9th. And Barb, when can yours be ready?
Email it to you tomorrow.
Okay, so we can put it up on SlideShare. Do you have a SlideShare account? Can you load it on SlideShare and we'll link to it?
Sure can.
Okay. And that's where you guys can get those presentations. Thank you so much. They're really informative. Now let's take questions.